from Highbury, a damp day having become a dry evening mercifully, and a very important one for both these clubs in a match which has been brought forward from Easter Monday. Arsenal went top of the table when they won at Selhurst Park on Boxing Day morning. They've not been very far off the top since, but they've faltered lately, of course. Norwich are currently within catching distance, so George Graham has made 3 changes tonight. This is one of them. Paul Davis brought back to wear the number 4 shirt in midfield in place of Michael Thomas, who drops down to become one of the substitutes. And most people around Highbury will be very pleased to see him starting again. At number 2, Lee Dixon, replacing his old Stoke teammate Steve Bold, who picked up a knock in the Nottingham Forest game. Lee will be playing at right back, with David O'Leary moving into the centre of defence. And Paul Merson has come back in too up front. Perry Grove in the tracksuit in the picture there with Lee Dixon drops down to the substitutes bench with Mike Thomas. Charlton had also revived well, only to get a couple of setbacks recently. This is one of the men they'll be looking to, number 8, Paul Williams, scorer of 16 goals this season. Not all that long ago that he was playing non-league football for Woodford Town. Got a breakthrough last season in the first team and has really knocked in the goals. He's been injured as well. And his partner up front will be the man nearest the camera, Carl Leaburn, the big number 11. It's an interesting little and large combination up front. Leaburn is in fact preferred to Garth Crooks, who had many an interesting battle on this pitch in his Tottenham days. The young mascot tonight is Paul Graham, 13 years old, who comes from Enfield. And the referee, a pretty familiar figure too, Lester Shakhtar, who's come from rather further away in Torquay. So Arsenal have evidently won the toss and will defend the North Bank end. Charlton will kick off once the referee's got the signal from both goalkeepers and linesmen. Williams to get us away, and Charlton going backwards straight away to give an early touch to Bob Boulder. Very much a fixture in their goal now. Never really got a chance at Liverpool. Played previously with Sheffield Wednesday and Sunderland, and has been a bargain buy for Lenny Lawrence. His long kick towards the head of Leaburn, who wins it. Williams tries to lay it out, but hits it too hard for Robert Lee over on the right-hand side. Paul Merson laying that one back to Winterburn, and a long one forward towards Marwood, who's gone into the middle. Reed heads away, Merson lays it back. Marwood tries one, speculative one. They're not a bad crowd, they're clearly not one of the very biggest of the season. Possibly a few people kept away by the fact that it was such an unpleasant day earlier on, but the rain has stopped and it's not as cold as it was either. Shirtliff against Merson, Shirtliff rather caught off balance, and Alan Smith gets away from Humphrey. There are 2 in the middle, but he only finds Reed's head. Winterburn to try one. Quite well struck, but always going a little high and wide from Nigel Winterburn on the left-hand side. Nicely laid out from Marwood to Winterburn. Alan Smith is forward, looking for the flick. Lands nicely for Richardson. And now Rocastle against Mark Reed. Early cross towards Merson. Header! Held by Boulder. Now Smith, and that may break for Marwood, and Marwood's in, and Boulder's legs away. Well, 6 minutes played, and Marwood almost making it. It broke for him nicely off Alan Smith, but Boulder showing quick reactions and getting it away with his legs. O'Leary heads out the kick. Reed for Mortimer, the number 10. As well to get across in, and Mackenzie will drive one. And not very far wide at all. Lukic, or a defender, got a touch. And it looked for a moment as if it was flying in. Charlton's corner. First of the match. Robert Lee rather misheads it, and they've got players forward on the break here. Richardson's chip, a little bit optimistic. Harwood had come over to the right-hand side, but he was never going to reach that. Andy Peake in midfield for Charlton. Arsenal appeal in vain for offside, and Peake picks it up again. Leeburn and Reed. Early one towards Robert Lee, off his chest for Mackenzie, who loves to shoot from that sort of distance. And Lucas has had to save again. Two good efforts from Steve Mackenzie in the space of a minute. Lively start then as Boulder looks for Leeburn again. This time it falls for Robert Lee. He comes inside and shoots two. Oh, Charlton keeping Lukic busy. And the goalkeeper, I think, looking at his defenders and saying, where are all these coming from? Winterburn's chip forward off Smith's head. Pate's arriving for that one, gets challenged header, but O'Leary returns it. Mackenzie picks it up and will look for Robert Lee on the run. Robert Lee trying to get behind Winterburn, who managed to hold him off. Leeburn tucking it inside and getting it back. Gets out of trouble. Tony Adams, that's a dangerous ball which Mortimer's able to intercept. Charlton still have it. Played by Mark Reed and then Peake. Foul by Richardson on Lee. Charlton free kick. Charlton knocking the ball around quite comfortably for a team with such a terrible record against Arsenal. More of that in a moment. We'll watch Mackenzie's free kick first, which will presumably be aimed towards Leeburn's head. Fortunately for Arsenal, it didn't quite get there. In fact, the linesman gave a goal kick, but the referee had seen that it came off Tony Adams' head and gave the corner. Charlton's second corner then, Steve Mackenzie to take it, with Leeburn inevitably waiting on the near post, which is where everybody's corners seem to go these days. There it is. Didn't quite reach him. He gets the back header in. Shirtliff nods it square for Mackenzie. Toward Williams and Mortimer, who troubled Lukic there. Foul against O'Leary. Quite an achievement to manage to climb on top of Leeburn, who's about 6'4", 6'5". Shirtliff is sent forward for the kick with Alan Smith marking him. Pates plays it in. Over the top of everybody, goal kick. Talking about Charlton's record against Arsenal, they've in fact lost every game against them since they returned to the First Division. 5 out of 5 Arsenal have won. Back in the old days, Charlton did get some very good victories here, wins like 5-2 and 4-3 and 4-2 in the 50s that older supporters may remember. It's generally been a high-scoring fixture over the years. We're goalless at the moment. We've been playing exactly 20 minutes. Pates against Smith. Pates wins it. Lee Dixon looking for Marwood in the centre. Charlton defenders falling over each other. Boulder comes and claims it. Mortimer miscuing that one. Now Dixon. Pates brings down Merson, just to our right. Dixon and Davis line up the free kick. Adams has gone forward. He's on the far side with Smith. Merson and Rocastle waiting in the centre. It's Rocastle. Flag up for offside as Pates sits it away. Head for Richardson. Well taken by Alan Smith, allows Rocastle to play it forward, and Humphrey does well to take it out. Robert Lee forced backwards by Winterburn, and Lee loses it, recovers well though. And Lee has got down the wing again. Leeburn and Mortimer. And Mortimer's unmarked in the centre if he can find him. Oh, he does! And Mortimer, a marvellous goal for Charlton. That's a super goal for Paul Mortimer. Robert Lee started it all off. Drove it across, and Mortimer, you could see, unmarked all the time, went over Dixon, and Mortimer met it brilliantly. Well, Robert Lee had been involved twice in the move. He did well to get forward again so quickly, and Arsenal just hadn't seen that they were one man short at the back, because Mortimer and Leeburn were both there, attended only by Dixon. Lukic forward then. Merson gets a little bump from behind, and this could be interesting. Colin Pates rolled to have fouled him just on the edge. So Merson in the wall, beckoning Smith to go on the other end of it. 3 Arsenal players there, as you can see. Lee Dixon has come up wide on the right and isn't marked. It's laid for Winterburn, and it wasn't far wide in the end. Mortimer now, brought down by Rocastle. Mackenzie and Reed. Mackenzie to curl it in. And Lukic this time holds it. Looks for the quick break. There's only Merson up. It was a bit of a waste because there were 3 or 4 defenders back and only Paul Merson up front. Arsenal have got more men forward now, is Marwood. Against Lee and Humphrey. Lee stops him. Winterburn, Charlton appeal for offside as Marwood crosses. Adams is in there. Rocastle. The shot's not going for him tonight. Hit a rather better one with his left foot. Winterburn now with Smith waiting in the centre. Gets it back from Marwood. Marwood's cross. Well held by Boulder. Shirtliff then with the free kick. Looking for a little bit of movement up front. There isn't much. He chips it towards Mackenzie. Lee lays it back for Humphrey. And one for Alan Smith to chase. Lets it run away from him. Home crowd beginning to get a little bit restless. And Smith and Richardson. It's a poor one though. Well met by Adams. Mackenzie's gone streaking down the middle. In fact, the ball comes to him rather via an unorthodox route, but Arsenal have got it back. Rocastle evading 2 challenges. Dixon's gone down the right. Well, it's going to be difficult to thread it through to him though. Mortimer, the goal scorer, finding Reed. Looks for Leeburn down the left. David O'Leary safe enough. Now Marwood and Merson trying the quick turn. Reed heads away under pressure. Dixon looking for a 1-2. Rocastle lays it back eventually and Mortimer slides in. Dixon winding himself up for a longish one towards O'Leary's head. The flick on and Marwood in there and gets a corner out of it. Wasn't an enormous throw by Dixon, but it caused a few problems as O'Leary flicked it back. Brian Marwood, having almost got in on the end of it, will take the corner. Shirtliff bundling into Davis. O'Leary finds Dixon in a bit of space. He spreads it out, but intercepted by Mackenzie. Davis finds Dixon on the touchline. Mortimer finds touch. O'Leary's interception. Adams down the line for Merson, nicely played, and Rocastle has got away from Mackenzie. Now Rocastle for Merson, Smith and Marwood in the centre. Too hard. Could have been a dangerous break because Smith and Marwood were both waiting beyond the far post, but as they closed in, Paul Merson hit it a bit too long. Charlton trying to build, Arsenal trying to build up down that left-hand side through Winterburn and Marwood as ever, but not getting very much joy tonight. They get a quick free kick here in towards Rocastle, and Bowler comes and collects it, and Rocastle makes it! Beautifully done by David Rocastle. Charlton caught out, possibly by the speed with which the free kick was taken. And 8 minutes from half-time, Arsenal are back level. And make that David Rocastle's first goal of the year. At a quick glance. It's Merson. Oh, getting past Pates and Marwood. Worth a try. Dixon. Merson took that nicely. Peake's able to beat Richardson to it, and now Leeburn with Williams on his right, not much other support. Tries to get Williams in, but Rocastle has covered up well. Now Lee, and Lee has gone past O'Leary, who's brought him down. Kevin Richardson indicating a dive, but Lester Shapter didn't think so. Every Arsenal player back to defend it, because we're only 5 minutes from half-time. Mackenzie on the ball with Andy Peake. Three big men waiting at the far side. Leeburn, Pates, Shirtliff. Mackenzie lays it short. Now Leary hits it away. Back to the drawing board for that one. Marwood on the break. And Richardson, and Merson is free on the far side. Good cross for Davis. Oh, what a goal! Paul Davis, the header. Brilliant break after Arsenal had all 11 players back behind the ball for the free kick. Put away to Richardson. Merson was free on the far side. Richardson clipped it a little bit shorter, and suddenly Paul Davis arrived to mark his return to the first team with a header. Confidence flowing again for Arsenal. Merson finds Marwood, and Smith almost on the end of that one. Pates' leg in the way. Mortimer hooks away. Lee with Mortimer coming down the left and Mark Reed outside him. Charlton's throw given. David O'Leary away with it. Past Lee Burns, long legs, and finding Rocastle again. Smith waiting. Doesn't quite get there. Merson nicely out to Rocastle. O'Leary and Mortimer meanwhile getting involved on the edge of the area. David O'Leary going to get a lecture, I think, as well as the Charlton man. Mortimer had challenged him just as he laid the ball out to Rocastle. And the upshot of it all is that he's actually given Arsenal the free kick there. It's a dangerous position. Davis and Marwood. Davis. Deflection, oh, saved by Boulder. Deflection off the goal, off the defender. Looked as if it might just dip under the bar, and Bob Boulder was able to turn it away in injury time in this first half. And Charlton would happily settle for the half-time whistle as Boulder punches. Davis back for Marwood. Late challenge by Rocastle and Reed. We've gone 2 minutes into injury time, but Arsenal finishing the half in command, really for the first time in the game. Boulder's kick downfield, off O'Leary's head. So, sustained applause from the crowd, more for the last quarter of an hour than the opening half hour from Arsenal's point of view. It's fallen behind to a marvellous effort from Paul Mortimer, but two equally good goals to put them in front. David Rocastle after 37 minutes, and then 5 minutes later, the swiftest of breaks from defence, Richardson's cross, and a lovely header from Paul Davis, collecting the applause as he goes off, having put Arsenal in front by 2-1. So, having finished the first half with a flourish, Arsenal start the second, attacking the North Bank end. We've seen some rarities already tonight. Paul Davis's first league goal of the season, David Rocastle's first since December. Paul Mortimer doesn't get many for Charlton either, but they were all outstanding goals in their way. And the crowd a little happier by the turn of events in the last 10 minutes of the half will feel they've had their money's worth. Robert Lee under that one. Winterburn beats him to it. Shirtliff lays it out. Lee couldn't quite control it. Lee again with Humphrey behind him. He looks for Paul Williams. Williams been a little bit quiet tonight. Generally well looked after by Tony Adams. Pates heads that one forward towards Leeburn. The head tennis on the far side until Paul Merson brings it down. Now Richardson. Drawing the foul and the free kick. Tony Adams and David O'Leary decide to stay back in defence. Davis works it short and gets it back and tries one. It's down towards Marwood. Might just have fallen for him, but didn't in the end. Leeburn's little flick goes into touch. (3-2), remember, at Selhurst Park on Boxing Day in a most eventful and enjoyable match. Arsenal should really have won more comfortably, but Charlton made them fight very hard at the end after Steve McKenzie came on as substitute about 18 minutes from time and got 2 goals. We've had 3 more goals tonight. 5 minutes now into the second half. Arsenal having scored 2 of them. Here's Williams finding Lee. Challenged by Adams. Forward from Reed towards Leeburn. Off Steve McKenzie. Brian Marwood going too far forward for it again. So Leicester Shakhtar gives it to Charlton. Pates was screaming for it in the centre. It went instead up the line to Williams and then back to Shirtliff. He looks for Paul Mortimer on the far side. Nicely controlled. Skillful young player, Paul Mortimer. Sometimes loses out on the physical side of the game. That ball has gone out for a throw down the right-hand side. Mortimer certainly showing his skills in the way he took his goal. This is Leeburn, a few inches taller, laying off for Reed. Charlton haven't got much height when Leeburn's not in the centre to meet those. It's his laid back from McKenzie, and another typical Steve McKenzie drive. Going away from John Lukic. 10 minutes of the second half gone. Alan Smith's lay off to Rocastle now. Smith makes for the far post, flag up for offside. It'll be Marwood who just strayed a little bit too far as David Rocastle chipped it in. Williams trying to get in on the end of that one. He's got Leeburn ahead of him, in danger of running offside again, but Williams does well to wing it back. Now Marwood, too hard. Arsenal, remember, having won only one of their last 5 league games, which has encouraged the good people of Norfolk and even Liverpool. Here's Dixon, getting a second chance. Smith! Oh, bobbled up off Humphrey for a corner. Lee Dixon a little bit lucky to get 2 chances at it, but when he sent the second cross in, Alan Smith getting the header in. Deflected away off Humphrey. Now what will Marwood do with this corner? They're waiting at the far end of the penalty area. It doesn't get anywhere near them, all the big players. Rocastle lays it back nicely to give him another chance. Corner or a free kick wanted. Corner in fact given. As though Brian Marwood has got in the habit of playing some out-swinging corner kicks from the right-hand side. This time players have gone a little nearer to the near post. O'Leary and Rocastle. Peake collects a throw from Humphrey and volleys it forward. Mackenzie putting the defenders under pressure. Now Rocastle collecting from Smith. Pates stands in his way. Leeburn finds Williams. Looks for the return. It doesn't get there, because Tony Adams has taken the ball away. Remaining cool, under pressure. Dixon for Smith, well controlled. Both Arsenal substitutes, incidentally, warming up on the far side. Perry Groves and Michael Thomas. Possibly just as a warning to the others to step up the pace a little bit. Not very many chances created in the opening quarter of an hour of the second half. David O'Leary coming forward. Davis indicates he'd like it. Not an easy one to control though. Perry Groves continuing to jog along on the far side. Paul Merson preferred to him tonight. Now then, this is interesting. Peake breaks through and will try one. Didn't get hold of it at all, but Lukic decided to go for it anyway. Andy Peake, the former Leicester midfielder, not really getting hold of that one. Arsenal's ball. Reminder at the position at the top going into the game. Arsenal 55 points, having played one game more than Norwich, who are on 53. Liverpool, always worth a mention, 10 points behind, with 2 games in hand of Arsenal. So Arsenal are looking for a 5-point lead at the top, and even though they would then have played 2 games more than Norwich, the points generally considered to be better off in the bag at this stage. Tony Adams forward. Charlton not really getting it away. Well, one again by Marwood, who's done well. And good first time ball in for Merson and Smith. And a good job for Charlton that Humphrey was covering up to concede the corner. But we're going to see a substitution. It's Perry Groves for Paul Merson. Sympathetic round of applause for Paul Merson, who goes off only 19 minutes into the second half. Interesting time to make the substitution when you've just been awarded a corner. Groves goes straight into the 6-yard box. The corner doesn't get anywhere near him. Winterburn may give him a first touch now. Perry Groves virtually tackling him to get the ball at last and chip it in. And Smith almost set up a chance with his first cross. Rocastle! Bob Boulder very relieved to see that one fly by. Perry Groves had chipped it in after his fine tackle on Nigel Winterburn. It wasn't cleared, and David Rocastle almost made Charlton pay. So just about 20 minutes of the second half gone. Arsenal still 2-1 ahead. The crowd would like another goal. And Mackenzie might provide one at the other end. He's gone all the way and driven it low, and it's in! Steve Mackenzie! Delight for those Charlton players and the supporters behind them. Mackenzie has made it a lovely run and drive across Lukic and in virtually off the post. Fine individual goal. 65 minutes And Charlton have pulled it level. And the Charlton supporters away to our right can suddenly see an unexpected bonus. I don't think many of them would have expected to get much out of the match once Arsenal had scored twice in 5 minutes in the first half. Here's Rocastle going away from Peake, who brings him down. Again, Arsenal look to take a quick free kick. A little bit too quick this time. They fought Charlton for the equalising goal with the quick free kick from Marwood. It's going to take a more leisurely one now as Tony Adams and O'Leary arrive at the far post. And Adams almost gets there shirtless, doesn't it? Falls for O'Leary. One in by Robert Lee. Winterburn finds Davis. O'Leary again, having lost the shooting chance. Richardson with Smith, and Marwood keeps it in, and Smith! Always danger when Alan Smith gets onto one of those short crosses. Brian Marwood sprinted for the line and did well to touch it back. Dixon looking for Groves, policed by Shirtley. Brian Marwood waiting in the centre very much on his own, no other Arsenal player anywhere near him. O'Leary may change the direction of the attack a little. He looks for Smith, who raises his foot too high. Well, I said it was historically a high-scoring fixture. Arsenal, of course, scored 4 last year here. 3-2 at Selhurst this season. 4 more goals tonight. And the referee upsetting John Humphrey and the Charlton defenders by giving Arsenal a throw out of that. Humphrey determinedly wins it back. Tate's header away. Richardson charges in a little too vigorously for the referee. Position at the bottom. Charlton dropped into the bottom 3 after the weekend. So even 1 point would be well worth having for them. Very close at the bottom. Charlton 28 points, Southampton and Luton 29, Sheffield Wednesday and QPR 30, with QPR playing Luton tonight, and Middlesbrough and Villa on 31. The rest of the First Division must feel comparatively safe, but there's a lot of teams down there. 9 of them really in danger at the bottom. Charlton won't be counting their points yet though. They've got to defend here with 17 or 18 minutes to go now. And Paul Davis's free kick towards Adams. Boulder punches. O'Leary wants it in a bit of space on the left. It goes the other way. Adams to bring it down, and the handball spotted. Much to Charlton's relief. Pate's driving one forward for Williams to chase. Again, no joy for him. Now Perry Groves. Not had much opportunity since coming on. That's an interesting one. Boulder generally sound under pressure. More than once this season, Arsenal have conceded goals after they felt there should have been an offside decision, and sometimes they've not reacted quite as quickly as they should have done because they were looking for the linesman's flag. Here's Mackenzie for Williams. The urgency beginning to veer towards desperation as Arsenal come forward now with about 9 minutes on the watch. Charlton counter-attacking as Adams brings down Lee. We'll get a talking to and possibly a booking. Yes, the notebook's coming out as Leicester Shapter moves towards Tony Adams. He joins Mackenzie. Booking for the Arsenal captain. Humphrey to take the free kick. Leeburn makes one run, checks and makes another one towards it. Adams under it, Williams gets there and Adams didn't quite get there at all. And Dixon had to hoop it over. Adams has a little discussion with the goalkeeper and shakes his head, as if he expected John Lukic to have come and claimed that. So Charlton having a good spell. Mackenzie's driven kick, shirtless header. Mulder trying to catch them out with a quick one, but they've got three defenders back. And now they've got a counter-attack. Handball by Perry Groves, and they've got a free kick. Humphrey again, looking for Leeburn. Again, Adams doesn't get there, and it falls for Leeburn. Winterburn hacks it away. You would have said, or I would have said, and I think Leeburn would, that a goal kick is given. Well, lack of concentration and a little bit of composure missing from the Arsenal defence. Uneasy moments for them when they should be massing at the other end. Charlton are looking confident again. Leeburn has put Williams in. Robert Lee's there too. Williams can't get a shot in and can't find Lee either. And the home crowd don't like this at all. Now Winterburn, Marwood outside him. Groves waiting in the centre. Marwood puts his head in his hands. It's Williams with Mackenzie through the middle again, and really not much cover at times in the Arsenal defence. Winterburn is going forward. They've got to make sure they keep it a little bit tighter at the back. Again, they've left only two defenders back as Marwood looks for Smith. Smith finds Groves. And Colin Pate tacks it away. Anxious signalling from the Arsenal bench to make sure that they don't send too many people forward. Lee Dixon's being called back into defence as that one bounces off Shirtliff to give them a corner. Paul Williams has stayed up. Nobody else up there. Charlton have 10 back otherwise to defend this one. Williams getting behind the ball as well now as Rocastle lays it backwards and Winterburn chips forward. Marwood on the far side won't get anything out of that. Four minutes to play, 2-2. And the first rather disappointed home supporters beginning to look for the early cue. Feeling feeling perhaps that 2 points have been lost tonight. A draw, remember, would leave Arsenal 3 points ahead of Norwich, but having played 2 more. Here's Dixon. Humphrey hacks it away. Charlton aren't too bothered where it goes. Arsenal bench desperate to get it back into play. Crowd urging Dixon to get a move on. The Charlton supporters whistling rather optimistically for full time. We've got a little way to go yet. Michael Thomas hasn't been able to make much impact yet since coming on. Ryan Marwood has won another corner. And again, everybody except the 2 fullbacks goes forward. Williams stays up for Charlton. Marwood's corner. Leeburn's head away. McKenzie to go past Rocastle. Only Williams forward. He'll have a run after that one. But Dixon has played it well and found Rocastle, and then Groves. Marwood staying over on the right hand side to drive that one towards Adams. Now Michael Thomas. Williams and McKenzie and Leeburn on the break. Williams getting up the centre again. Robert Lee is on the right hand side, and Charlton have got a free kick which they'll be quite happy with. Paul Mortimer in the corner with Rocastle. Throw or a free kick? Free kick, I think. Charlton in no rush. Leeburn and Williams are in the middle, but nobody else. They're playing it short down in the corner. Dixon challenging Mortimer, trying to avoid conceding either foul or corner. They get out of it quite well, and Reid has to go backward and concede the throw. The yellow shirt streaming back. Davis finds Smith, trying to change the direction of the attack. Winterburn's made a run down the left, but Smith hasn't found him. McKenzie coming from deep again and finding Leeburn. Robert Lee arriving on the right. Taking it through the sand. Charlton just happy to keep the ball at the moment. But here's Mortimer. And they've got another free kick for Thomas's challenge. 1 minute left. McKenzie finds Humphrey. Leeburn moving away on the far side. Will go for this one with Adams. O'Leary, beg his pardon, who gets it away. And now Perry Groves. We're in injury time. Winterburn, Thomas. Adams has stayed forward. Marwood on the right. Almost bounced for Alan Smith. Rocastle to lay it out to Marwood again. Smith waiting in the centre. Smith. Boulder away from Adams. Didn't get a touch. Adams convinced he did, as were the crowd behind the goal. The referee felt not. And Bob Boulder will be happy to take the goal kick. Here's Adams at the other end. And here's Leeburn and Williams. Unmarked again. Now then, last chance. Groves getting inside his man, goes down. No penalty. And the crowd, in fact, protesting more vociferously than the players, who scarcely appealed at all as Perry Groves went down. Good to see them not attempting to con the referee, whatever the North Bank may think. Played a minute and a half of injury time. Reid finds touch, well caught by Gary Lewin. Arsenal throw by Groves. Referee's looked at his watch again, and that's all over. Furious shouts for handball in the very last seconds, but I think the referee had blown almost before the ball got there. So an unhappy end for Arsenal. 2 championship points frittered away. They go 3 ahead of Norwich, but having played 2 games more, Charlton collect an invaluable away point to the delight of their supporters, with Steve McKenzie's second half goal earning them a draw here at 2 each.